Take off! It's time for Doug and Ben's Great NASCAR Adventure!
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to NasCanucks, the number one rated NASCAR podcast on YouTube by us. Yep, I'm Ben. He's Doug. Welcome back, Doug. That's the theme of the show because I didn't really have another theme other than off-season news. Off-season news. You can't call everyone off-season news.
Biggest news of all.
Yes.
Coombs is finally early.
It's a rare thing. It's
Rare.
like an eclipse. No, it's not. It's rarer. It's rarer.
Even rarer. I was in here like 26 minutes ago.
He was. I wasn't. He was. I was working on lights. Anyways, we have somebody watching. Hello. Oh, it's Symmetry. Hey, what's up, Symmetry? So the off season continues. The winter testing is still not happening because there isn't any. Somebody needs their muffler fixed. Jesus. Okay. Oh, going down the highway. That guy's gonna be so deaf by the time he arrives at home. Yeah. All right. All the decibels. Anyways, yeah. So we have a few notes and news and tidbits and information and this and that. So Doug's going to mention his news, and then I'll mention the news that he didn't mention and rebut, because that's how this works.
Okay. Well, no, it's just stuff that came out today.
Sure.
This morning that the Daytona 500 is sold out.
Yes.
For February. And then, as I said, hey, look, the Daytona 500 is sold out. Then you went and shit all over it.
Well, yeah. How many stands exist these days?
Well, the seats they have now are sold out.
Yeah. So, that's happened. Do you have another piece? I don't know if you saw one of the latest entries into the Daytona 500, the number 84 Chevy.
Mm-hmm. Making his return. Okay, there's that one, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7-time coming back.
Yeah. And a name change.
Yes.
A team name change. No longer Petty GMS. It is now Legacy Motorsports.
Yes.
Yeah. So
first time since 1949, we haven't had a Petty name in an ownership.
Exactly, yeah. So
now, I don't know if Richard's name is still listed as one of the car owners on the car. I'm not sure how that works.
I don't know.
Yeah. What's up, Charles?
But yeah, there's that. And then 23XI will be fielding a third car to try and enter the Daytona 500.
Yes.
Making, again, another person making their return to NASCAR. He was just in the Xfinity Series before, I believe.
Okay.
Being Travis Pastrana.
This is me not holding my breath that he makes the field.
Well,
on the other hand, we don't even know if there will be a full field because I haven't exactly crunched the numbers. Plus, a lot of teams claim they're going. Whether or not they make it, something else. So we shall see on that. I think that's more as much a result as, hey, we got spare parts now, Doug. So we can throw together a third car. And because it's such a tight box for a car, it's not like starting a new team from the ground up, right? Like you're already kind of there and competitive, especially with all the sim work. They're all running the same setup across the whole team usually anyways. One setup on all the cars. So yeah. Also, I was going to mention the Jimmy Johnson thing because the sponsor from the IndyCar series is now his sponsor in the NASCAR series.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that's working out, that he can do what he's doing. Also announced Kyle Larson is going to attempt the Indy 500 in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Guess what? I'm going to do something not this year, next year.
Yep. So does that mean he's going to attempt the double?
I would assume so. I would assume so because they had him on. I was listening to just a little bit of a clip of him, and he said, now that Chevy has their big on-site development center. He can go and get all the sim work right there,
Right.
in the IndyCar.
Yeah. So there is that happening. Also, another piece of rumor that I heard: a candidate to fill the 4 ride after this year with the retirement of Kevin Harvick. A big push from the manufacturer on a certain driver to take that seat.
HD?
Mm-hmm.
How did I not know that?
Yeah. So the rumor is Haley Deegan, because she ran once in the Xfinity Series, so that qualifies her to run Cup. Sure. Probably can't do much more than the other half the team. Really.
Yep.
Yeah. So heard that.
And then one thing I seen, I just forget his name now, but it was a crew chief that was working for Stuart Haas, and I wish I could be a whole lot better news if I knew his name. I worked for Stuart Haas, got in trouble with NASCAR, and suspended indefinitely.
Okay.
It was just been suspended indefinitely just recently. But so he's left Stuart Haas, went to Hendrick Motorsports.
Okay.
And the day that he started with Hendrick Motorsports, he's reinstated. He's back in NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
Shocking.
You know what? For fear of my internet connection, I'm not going to comment on that, Doug. I'm not. I don't know. Sure. Well, okay. That's fine. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Also, do you know why Legacy Motorsports is now called Legacy Motorsports?
Because of the legacy in NASCAR, the 2 7-time champions?
Well, actually, they're counting 22 championships amongst the team ownership.
Okay.
Mike Beam is also partial owner of the team.
Okay.
So apparently Mike Beam has 8 championships, which I did not realize, but I know he'd been around the sport forever and a day.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I think he came up through the Petty organization, like around the time Steve Mule did, early 80s generation type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Could be wrong. I've been known to. Also, should we talk about the new ownership of the Cars Tour?
Yes, we should. I was just kind of looking at that here now. It kind of came up. But some new ownership is a good boost for that series.
A good boost. It's all the boost.
Yes.
Right? It's one thing to get one guy's name involved, but you got 4 names? Like what? You got Dale Jr., Jeff Burton, and is Harvick involved?
Yep. And Justin Marks.
See, that's a good combo, really. Let's be honest, because that's like your super group in a way. You're like Harvick, he's got the business contacts because he's like got an sports agency going on.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Burton's always been known as the smart guy. He's like, I don't know why everyone, because you don't sound like your brother. That's the biggest reason that you're considered smart. It's because you're usually standing next to your brother.
And you don't talk about the water heater.
No, he does not. So, state water heater.
Yep.
So, and then Justin Marks, he's got who knew? But he's got contacts beyond contacts. Yep. He's like, hey, when I left racing a few years ago, retired early, and you're all like, oh, I guess you didn't fizzle. I've been networking and mingling ever since. Because I think he's going to those parties on big yachts, and they're like, oh, aren't you a former race car driver? Let's talk about that. And there's some titan of industry, and they're like, well, I have $15 million to play around with. He's like, hey, you want to buy a race car?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that idea. And already I'm hearing, are we seeing potential rivals to NASCAR? We have SRX. We have the Cars Tour. I'm like, the Cars Tour is the whole point is it's a late model tour. Although the Xfinity Series was meant to be a late model tour, so in the Southeast. So I like the idea. If they get to ARCA status, ASA level, like ASA, think about like in the early 90s, you tune into ASA races on a Saturday, the same as Busch races. And those were more or less V6 late models and good racing. And they had the the Mike Beebes and the Bob Senekers and, they're, Dick Trickle and Rusty and Mark Martin came up through the series. We're like, was that a fact? Alan Kowicki too. Oh, who knew? But it's basically anybody west of Missouri came up through that series. It was a Midwest series. That's kind of how it works. But I would love to see that. And maybe get a TV deal of some kind.
Well, I think just those names are going to get them a TV deal now because
probably
Wensdale Jr. going to show up.
Well, even if you do like, let's say, okay, it's the Cars Tour and they do their No Bull 5. They're going to have 5 Crown Jewel races, North Wilkesboro, whatever, They're going to do 5 Crown Jewel. And even if just those 5 races are on TV, like, because they'll be like, it's like NASCAR in the 70s. We only show 5 of our races and they're on tape delay or whatever. Sure. I'm down with that to start with.
And who says now that you won't see like a Keelan Harvick running in one of those races?
Well, and they'll do one of those deals. Hey, you only have to be 14 to run our series type thing.
Yep.
Right? If you can reach the pedals, you're legal.
Yeah.
They're all stretching on the kids back home.
Then the other thing that was announced, I think it was today, that's for the Clash at the Coliseum, to get into the Coliseum, the Olympic vibe. The top 3 finishers will receive gold, silver, and bronze medals. Yeah.
That was like NASCAR announced who one of the entertainers was. And people were saying, who? And they're like, obviously you don't know pop music. And I replied, most NASCAR fans don't.
Would that be one Wiz Khalifa?
Sure.
Okay. Sounds like something I do during one of the stage breaks.
Yeah, I thought that's the sound it makes when you cross over the infield bridge. Khalifa.
Maybe.
Just think 1,000 Island Bridge. We're just Khalifa. Yeah.
And then you touched on probably the biggest news of the week, a little bit with who would be replacing Mr. Harvick, because he announcing that it will be he'll be done this after this season.
Yep. Which we kind of figured out. Like, he had teased already that announcement.
Yep.
Like here he said, it's going to be my last year with Stuart Haas. Okay. It's going to be my last year. In other words, I looked around, Doug, and ain't nothing available.
No, and then when he does that whole fire suit kind of little kind of tease, and he's got the forever on the fire suit as well. But
an homage to 20 Forever.
Yeah.
Go Rainbow Warriors.
But no, I kind of I like the video that he did. You can tell that he was reading off the teleprompter, but still, right? It's, you kind of knew it was still his words, right? You there?
There we go. If someone had their notifications turned on, they'd know that I'm live right now.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
I wasn't sure if you were like there. You were just kind of like but yeah.
No, just, yeah. Anyway, and I agree. But yeah, Harvick knows it's time, I think he realized that back-to-back wins was that kind of little Harry Gant deal. It's like, it's a blip at that point. We're still on the downside of the career, guys, So, and he's got his hands full with his son, and he wants to be involved, like he says, actively. that this is what I'm looking to do, and this is the future, and fine, and we've been talking about that for a while now. I think that's going to be a great opportunity as almost, let's call it like the soccer academies, or like we have here with the hockey academies and stuff. If Harvick puts together, hey, sign up my kid. Okay, you can run this series because I got contacts here. And I mentioned on the last show he's been over in Europe with Keelan, running go-karts over there, and he's like, I don't know what they're yelling at me when I pass them. Don't worry about it. Go.
Yeah.
Just go.
And I kind of like that. I've been able to see him win a couple races down in Charlotte, and I'm not sure. Were you down there for any?
Yep.
Oh, here's okay. Because I know I've seen him win both of his 600s, and I believe he kind of did win one there recently. I think.
Possibly.
I'm not sure. But yeah. But, he's, and,
I think I saw both of the 600s too, because both of them were, he didn't dominate the race, so something happened, and then Kevin Harvick ends up winning.
Well, one was the suicide rate in Charlotte going up that night, but we talk about losing Kurt Busch. We're going to be back-to-back years losing the last remnants of Dale Earnhardt Sr. Right, losing Busch this year will be the last driver to drive with him.
Yeah,
and now
Kurt was the last driver to drive with him. And let's be honest, and there have been several drivers retire prior to Kurt who hadn't driven with Dale.
Yeah.
Like the Biffles and the Jimmy John, they all came in just after. Like they may have run against him in an Xfinity race, but not in a Cup race, because they were just that little bit. And obviously Harvick hadn't run against him for obvious reasons, but Harvick was due to come in the next year. Like in theory, he would have run, because Harvick was 1 year away anyways. Yeah. And then, that leaves Kyle Busch as the elder statesman by a bit, because then it's him and then Hamlin / Truex. And that, again, that's a jump. And then after that, there's Keselowski, kind of, but again, it's interesting. Like, we're getting away from, I remember driving that generation car. Like, how many drivers even drove pre-COT?
and listening to him talk this week, they've had him on a couple times on the radio. I was able to listen to him. And he was like, you know what? He didn't want that ride that he got with the 20, with them become the 29. He didn't want that at all. He wanted to race against Senior. And so he was really hesitant to take his spot, for lack of a better term.
Because it was either going to be a fourth car for Harvick, or it would have been the AOL car, Jeff Green situation, that car.
Yep.
Because they still had Mike Skinner / then into Jeff Burton, so, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think any other news that has kind of popped up. It's all been just like small little stuff.
Yeah, a few little sponsorship announcements, but nothing major. So that brings us to your big tease. We got 6 people watching. Thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, please. Say hi if you're watching on replay. So Timothy Peters.
Timothy Peters has retired.
Yes.
And he was on with Angie Skinner and Mike Skinner on Skinner's Roundup on Sirius XM. And they were talking about his new job. That now he's retired from NASCAR. He has a new job. So,
what's up, Terry?
We'll give you a guess, Keith.
All right.
That's not for you right now.
All right. So,
your thoughts on his new job?
Selling oranges on the side of the freeway? No.
That would be a no.
Okay. Greeter at Hooters?
That would be a no as well.
Okay. Gosh, that was.
But he does have to wear an almost fire suit-like uniform.
He's a minister.
No, that would be no. A former NASCAR sponsor uniform.
Working at McDonald's?
That would be a no. But he is driving in his new job.
Oh, so he's worked for Domino's.
No. Yes, no.
Former sponsor,
Yes,
driving, uniform. Just
he
saying.
is. He is driving around in the brown truck for UPS.
Like as a driver,
He will deliver your. Keith, if you get something from UPS in the Charlotte area, you could have Timothy Peters delivering it to you in the brown suit.
Well, there we are. Well, I was thinking because there wasn't a lot of money to be made in the truck series.
No. No. So we know one place that he will not be delivering to.
Yeah. Well, two. Sorry, they're not going to be delivering your place either.
Yeah, true.
Okay. That. Speaking of lifestyle choices, he made some bad ones. If he can't find work as a spotter.
Well, he's for he's and he was saying that he now likes it because he still gets to drive. He did not tell them in his interview that he was a former NASCAR driver. They didn't know, but
well, which shows how remarkable his career he is.
Yes, but no, he's just he's just got the regular job. He's home on weekends or whatever. And
the average person in the Charlotte area is more inclined to be a NASCAR fan too. So it's not like he's we're applying in Wichita, Kansas UPS location. Like, come on, it's probably in the Mooresville. Like, how many shops? He's like, oh yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah.
Down in that industrial park, down by Red Horse Racing and all those.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows it.
But yeah.
Hey, I bet you though, he comes back with a package. Why couldn't you deliver one? I was supposed to go to Penske. Could not fucking find the place.
Could not find it, yes. Yeah.
Just mark those as undeliverable. Wow. Okay.
So yeah.
Other than that, I don't think there was a whole lot else.
I don't think so, no. We'll
just trying to draw this out for another 7.5 minutes. Trying. Yeah. Let's start early. Perfect.
Yeah.
Like
perfect. Yeah, so we'll be back another 2 weeks, and then we'll have a full preview.
Yeah, then 2 weeks from now, and then if we waited 2 weeks, then it's basically into Daytona stuff, right? But the Clash would be in between, shouldn't it be?
Well, Clash is
maybe in 2 weeks.
No, Clash is what, February 5th or 4th? February 4th. Okay. And we'll go the 31st. We'll have the 31st. We'll be before the Clash.
Yeah, so we'll have before the Clash, and then we'll look at it from there.
Yep.
So we will be back in 2 weeks. Yeah, for the Clash preview.
Yes, and we'll be able to do
a shitty rate. Go if you're handed free tickets. Go if you get comp tickets.
And we'll be able to do on Valentine's Day show. For a
that's usually Daytona weekend.
Well, because remember, there's a week in between the Clash and the 500.
Yes.
So, which I believe is Super Bowl weekend. So yeah, so we'll be back to 14th, right before the 500. So we'll be right before the duels.
Perfect.
To talk Daytona.
Nice. Yeah, because normally we'd have a lot to talk about in that, leading into the duels and prior all the shenanigans, but there isn't any. Well, there'll be qualifying. There should be full qualifying, but that's about it.
There should be. Yeah.
And knowing them, they'll be unload them, put them through inspection. Okay, go out and qualify. I haven't been in a race car since November of last year because you won't let us test.
Now thinking about that there, did they not do the qualifying the Wednesday before the duels on the Thursday last year? Because they used to do the Clash on the Saturday.
All I know is Speed Weeks is now less than a week. That's all I know.
Yep.
So probably you're right. Who knows? We'll probably have something to talk about. Or not.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep, we shall. All right. We got 9 people watching now, and we got nothing. Perfect.
Okay, questions?
Yeah. Any questions?
Any questions? Any questions?
We'll open it to the floor now.
Yes.
Yeah. Questions?
Yeah. Well,
I know there's something I'm forgetting.
I know there's. I'm thinking that too, and it's NASCAR
Well,
did
now
their
we only
media.
have
Well,
7 people watching because the 2 people they got nothing.
they got nothing. I know. I know. Looking on Facebook and out there, say that the Joe Gibbs Racing did their photo stuff today.
Oh,
Did all their media stuff.
gotcha.
What?
Just off the top of your head, who do you like for the Daytona 500?
You know what? Harvick.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we know the way NASCAR is.
Yep.
They're going out. It's gonna be Harvick.
I was thinking. Well, there you go. Mark asked who our picks for Daytona 500 was. Perfect. Chastain was the first name that entered my head because it's going to be crazy, and we're due. Doug, we're due for one of those. It's going to run till 9 or 10 at night. We're
Yep.
due for one of those. We haven't had one of those in a few years.
You know what? I was. The heart says what Meadowbrook says there, just because it's probably going to be his last year, and he's been close so many times.
Well, that was going to be my next question was, who do you think is going to announce their retirement during this coming season? And it's going to be effective at the end of the season, type thing.
Yeah. I think
that's what Truex is going to do. We're going to hear in like August that he's done, and that's it.
Yep.
Because he's like, I don't
he's
need to do a farewell tour.
He's not a big farewell tour guy. He's not a big guy for the spotlight.
Plus, that's so much crying, Doug. Jesus. We don't need to see him crying every weekend. Here's a rocket chair. Ah! Here's the clock. Ah! No, we don't need it. Yeah, it'll be interesting, though. All right. Well, we've gone 28 minutes. That's good enough. It's good enough for us. So, we'll be back in 2 weeks previewing the Clash. Let's see if they get a full. I don't know. Well, a full field. Yeah, they don't even.
They will have a full field for the Clash because everyone.
Oh yeah, because they expanded it so it's like 26 cars showing up. Yeah. Then again, if we go by old rules, like, holy crap! I just thought the All-Star race this year is going to be a full fucking field because it's all the previous year's race winners.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like 20 plus cars right there, and then your open winners and your fan votes and
your past champions. Yep.
Yeah. It'll be the entire field they're all in. They're all in.
Except for the 34.
Except for the 34. It'll be like the 34, one of Rick Ware's cars.
Stenhouse.
Stenhouse. Yeah. Well, there we go. He's been Doug. I've been Ben. New year. Dude still burns his fingers every dang week.
Yeah, just once, not do it.
And, Mechanics Wear makes a thermal glove. I've owned some.
Yeah. And for the guy that I didn't see at Hooters this weekend, see you, Marcus.